And now if you are in parts of Union, Franklin, and Delaware County, probably hearing those tornado sirens going off right now. We're hearing that heavy pounding of the rainfall. I think we just heard some thunder associated with this line of lightning that's been crossing the 70 corridor. That there's a very small eye, so that center of the storm, and it's actually that small eye that can result in much larger, more dangerous storms. In many cases, large and active wildfires. And this year has also been setting records. It does look like they've broken off in the same direction, which, like we just mentioned, means a better potential for straight line wind damage and not a tornado. Also in the mid-20s, so that's why the potential for slush still something that Kevin and I are keeping a very close eye on for you. It's kind of a weird thing, and I did ask. I was like, so when are these lizard warnings coming out, or high iguana watches?
Don't say that.
They said it's not officially going to become a thing, but they'll continue to give out those impact forecasts based on if reptiles will be freezing. Oh, it's kind of rare. It's kind of fun that we get to experience that tonight.
I don't know. It's going to be rather spooky, especially given the year that we've had, Liz.
Yeah, there's been way too many tricks. The bubbles that you're getting from this is CO2 gas, or carbon dioxide gas. And since we have the bottle completely closing off any place for the gas to go, it works its way through that entrance or exit from the bottle right up into the balloon. Between about 6 and 9 o'clock, we'll actually be just ahead of a warm front, shifting in more of a southerly breeze. And really that southerly shift in wind is going to be about the only warm component we see from this. We're talking about April 30th of 1908, where there were nearly 2.5 inches of snowfall on the ground. And today, we're still keeping an eye on that live Viper radar. Bell Fountain and Marion start to see the snow showers push their way back up into the area. Kevin is getting out of here as soon as we start talking about the snowfall, though. I think that's the one thing that might get him in his cage. Even yesterday, we hit 90 degrees for the first time. We've had that heat, that humidity, that summer-like feel in full swing. And now we're changing things to feel and look almost more spring-like, at least as far as watching for showers, thunderstorms, and a little bit more seasonal in the way of our temperatures. I want to start off with the view on the live Viper radar. You're looking at the last 3 hours where we've seen just a few showers, even isolated thunderstorms bubble up. For now, though, those showers continue to push their way off to the east. You'll notice areas like just down to the south of Newark, over toward Chillicothe, heading into Logan, even Bucyrus. Not a big downpour of rain, no thunder or lightning associated with these right now, but we have been keeping an eye on those showers. Across the outer belt, looking at dry conditions. The only thing that may be soggy would be from those earlier showers toward Columbus. For now, though, it's right on top of Buckeye Lake that you're probably hearing that pitter-patter of rainfall. Again, pockets of moderate to heavy rain showers, but no thunder or lightning associated with this, so nothing dangerous as we start off the morning. Mr. Rooter Plumbing Tower Camera showing the view. For those of us who may not be seeing those showers right now, we still have that thick blanket of clouds, and you're definitely feeling the heat and the humidity back in full force. Right now, 70 degrees from Columbus up toward Delaware, Mount Gilead, even Bucyrus. You notice the rain cooled air, knocking down the temperatures for areas like Newark down to 64 degrees, 61 over toward Cambridge. But normally this time of the year would be used to see in the mid-50s, so we are still well above average. And the heat to start off the day plus that humidity, it's just priming our atmosphere for more showers and thunderstorms by later on this afternoon. You notice the cold front that's kind of leading the charge for this next round of rainfall, and even the cause for some stronger storms just now pushing its way into Michigan and not even into the Chicago area just yet. It won't be until later this afternoon that we start to shift our gears to looking at those stronger storms and the severe threat, where we have that marginal to even slight chance for stronger, more severe storms. It's kind of in the northeast corner of the state. So for those of us north of 70, off to the east of 23, including Mount Vernon, as well as into Newark, Coshocton, Cambridge, we'll be watching for some of those stronger storms to develop with the heat of the day as that cold front approaches. And the primary concern with these will be not only pockets of heavy rainfall, but those strong gusty winds. We'll also be watching as some of these thunderstorms develop for the potential for some small hail. Now, as far as the timing of this, again, throughout the morning, we're still keeping an eye on a few very isolated showers bubbling up. But the main thing that you'll notice will be that heat and the rise in the humidity thanks to that southwesterly breeze, just kind of bringing in more moisture with it as well. That main line of rain, thunder, lightning moves toward the 71 corridor by about noon. 2 o'clock, that'll be where we have the warmest part of the day, temperatures in the low 80s. And you'll notice again that northeast corner of the state, more of the red showing up, indicating the heavier pockets of rain and the better opportunity for those stronger storms, which could develop and give us those strong gusty wind threats. As after the sun sets, we lose the heat from the day, the cold front passes through, and we'll actually be watching for cooler and drier air to start funneling in. Again, the chance for pop-up showers, isolated thunderstorms, not giving us an all-day washout, but something that we'll be watching for today. And then Friday, another chance for showers and storms moves through, and that'll give us a cool start to the weekend before we warm up again thanks to some sunshine just in time for Memorial Day. The purpose for drills, especially like the statewide tornado drill, is to make sure that you have a plan in place before you need to put it into action. And one of the big parts of having that plan is making sure that you know the difference between a watch and a warning. Now, traditionally, a watch will be issued first across a larger area, giving you time to plan and giving you that reminder that you need to be monitoring the weather very closely. Now, especially as soon as a warning, especially a tornado warning is issued, that means that the time to plan is over and you need to be in a shelter. The reason for that is because at this point, a tornado has either been indicated on radar or spotted by a trained spotter. Now let's go over the places that you want to be as soon as you need to take action and find shelter. Now the last place that you want to be is going to be outside, and even if you live in a manufactured home or mobile home, you need to move to a safer space. Now a lot of times those safer spaces could include a neighboring house or a sturdy structure. Once you get inside, it's important to find the most interior room and just put as much space as you can between yourself and any outside walls. And really the best place that you can be during a tornado and the safest place to be would be a basement or a tornado shelter. And once you are in place, it's important to make sure that you still have ways to get updates about the watches, the warnings, or even have a view of the radar. And one of the best and simplest ways to do that, well, that can simply be by downloading our NBC4 mobile weather app. And that's actually something that you can use all year long to make sure that you are staying weather aware.
All right, so from our one scientist to our other, we're talking about a science experiment that you can do at home with your kids now.
Yes, and this is one that, I don't know about you, but it's this time of the year where we have those cool mornings and warm afternoons that my car just goes crazy with the air pressure light.
Okay.
And so I want to show you an experiment that can tie that in, and all you need for this is going to be a bottle, preferably a clear plastic bottle, and you'll see why in a minute.
Okay.
Some hot water. I went out to our hot water that we can use to make tea and stuff and just fill that up in here. You're gonna need a bowl with some ice water, so you can see it's almost more ice than water in here. And you're gonna need a balloon. And if you're like me, maybe you're prone to spilling, I'd grab a little funnel, because the first step that we're gonna do is fill up your plastic bottle about a quarter of the way up with the hot water. And so this is the step you wanna be a little careful with.
Yeah, that's steaming.
And as soon as you get that about a quarter of the way full, I want you to take a balloon and put that right on top of the mouth of it. So once that's secure, maybe give it a little swirl, and you'll notice right away, since hot air, it naturally is going to expand. I don't know if you can see it on the bottle, but literally it's about as full as you can get. And it's as the air kind of expands and is trying to escape, it's trying to fill up this balloon as well. And I've found too that if you're able to find a 2-liter as opposed to maybe the water bottle size, you're able to get that bigger reaction. And now I want to show you kind of what happens with your tires in your car, or even your bike, or even if you have a basketball or soccer ball that's been outside, you've noticed it's probably naturally deflated. So it's kind of the same reason as why we see the hot air expand. Well, cold air is actually more dense, so it starts to contract. So take your bottle, put it in, and naturally right away you're going to start to see some differences. You're going to see, depending on how submerged you can get it, that the sides of the bottle start to go in. I don't know if you can see our balloon, but it's starting to almost wrinkle up like a raisin. And if you are able to put this in for long enough, or able to fully submerge your bottle, you'll get more of that temperature contrast. And eventually what happens is that there's such a big change in pressure. We're lowering the pressure by creating that colder air on the inside, that it's actually going to start to suck in this balloon. And so that's why first thing in the morning, especially this time of the year when you get the colder temperatures, you naturally are going to lose the air in your tires, because it creates this lower pressure. And so all those colder molecules are condensing together, versus summertime. It's not going to be a problem because they naturally want to expand a little bit more.
Interesting. All right. Well, that's one thing that we'll, I guess, look forward to, having to deal with what? Putting more airs in our tires, I guess?
Yeah, the next couple of days.
Back.
Heads up, since the temperature's dropping.
All right. Thanks, Liz.
Well, you may have seen this on social media already. As the temperatures fall, so do the iguanas.
Meteorologist Liz McGiffin looks into the strange scene that happened in Florida this morning. Liz, this would drive me crazy.
Oh yeah, it was kind of a weird event. And as meteorologists, we do try to make sure that we're presenting you your forecast based on how it's going to be impacting your day-to-day life. I had a chance to talk to Ariel Cohen, a meteorologist at the National Weather Service in Miami, as well as a Worthington, Ohio native, about how the cold weather actually triggered some of these odd events in southern Florida. Iguanas covering the streets of South Florida, even falling out of trees.
It's a little bit awkward, I have to say, in terms of that doesn't regularly happen.
Ariel Cohen is a Worthington, Ohio native now working for the National Weather Service in Miami, Florida. He has firsthand experience dealing with this cold snap.
Even for this Ohio boy over here who grew up in much colder weather, you kind of get adapted to the South Florida conditions, and all of a sudden.
Cold-blooded natives like iguanas have also become accustomed to much warmer weather. So as soon as the temperature falls to the 40s, they slow down and even become immobile. So you better watch out.
It's not just a typical occurrence. Certainly in Columbus and Worthington, we didn't typically have iguanas falling out of the sky.
This means that even forecasters need to adjust their messaging.
Even if it's not normal, these rare conditions tend to result in rare impacts. And so we always got to keep in mind what to do when the rare but possible comes about.
So suddenly our cold snap that's been happening here in southern Ohio, it's not looking too bad, at least by comparison. And while we are not forecasting iguanas to be raining down from the sky anytime soon, of course here at NBC4, we'll make sure that you know some of the impacts from as well as the timing from rain and snow that will be moving in, as Dave was just talking about, here in the next couple of days.
That is just crazy, and they had the nerve to send out a tweet letting people know what's going on, falling iguanas.
I mean, the people probably worried. I mean, or weirded out.
It's kind of a weird thing, and I did ask. I was like, so when are these lizard warnings coming out, or high iguana watches?
Don't say that.
They said it's not officially going to become a thing, but they'll continue to give out those impact forecasts based on if reptiles will be freezing.
All right.
But definitely not here, but still
Not here.
odd.
All right, Liz, thank you.
I think it's a sigh of relief that today, November 30th, it does mark the official end to this year's Atlantic hurricane season. And for a change, we're actually starting to see much calmer conditions out across the Atlantic. Now, of course, the 2020 Atlantic season, it was off to a very early start. Now, the very first named storm, it was actually Tropical Storm Arthur, which formed early. It formed in the middle of May, as opposed to that traditional start to hurricane season, which is June 1st. Now, this year we have had 30 named storms, which is a brand new record, and also the second year that we've had to dig into the Greek alphabet to start naming the storms. The only other year that we've had to do that was back in 2005, which was another record-breaking year in many respects. I want to start off with just the number of named storms. Back in 2005, there were 28 named storms, so 30 this year, that's a brand new record. Now, back in 2005, 15 of those became hurricanes. Thankfully, that was a record that we just barely were not able to break. 6 major hurricanes this year, Category 3 or higher. That's just one shy of that 2005 record. And on top of that, many of those major hurricanes, they were rapidly intensifying, which means that they gained speeds of 35 miles per hour or even more within a span of 24 hours, and that actually tied the 1995 record. Now, hurricanes, they can happen any time during the year, and that even includes some of the cold winter months like December, January, February, and even into the month of March. While they are significantly less likely to happen during those months, Audrey, that's just one more reason that we are going to continue to keep an eye on the tropics for what has already been a record-shattering year.